Roland Barthes once wrote, "To try to write love is to confront the muck of language, that region of hysteria where language is both too much and too little." His words echo in my head as I study my muddy hands, the clay undulating beneath my fingers. They dance, pulling and prodding as the form starts taking shape, slick and warm from my touch. What Barthes expressed about writing love, I feel about sculpting clay. When I throw a cup on a ceramics wheel, these are the fundamental steps I take. First, you'll need to weigh out approximately 1.5 pounds of clay. The desired consistency is damp but not watery, solid and firm but not rigid. You must prepare the clay for the wheel by a process called wedging. This ensures there are no air bubbles in your clay, hidden like tiny little bombs to explode during firing later. It also regulates any texture inconsistencies and makes the clay more pliable. To wedge, place your mound of clay on a sturdy table covered with canvas. Press the palms of your hands firmly downward into the clay and away from your body, rolling it slightly into a ball. Remember that your goal is to squish any air out, so repeat this until you feel that all of the clay has been primed at least 10 times. Next, place a board called a bat on the pins of the wheel head. The bat serves as a throwing surface that is removable, so you can move and store the completed piece of pottery without disturbing its still, soft shape. This is a good time to gather any tools you might need. The basics are a bucket of water, a small sponge, a pin tool, a wire tool, and a rib, which is a wooden, silicone, or metal shape used to guide the walls of your cup. You'll want to wet the bat by pumping your foot on the pedal of the wheel and running the wrung-out sponge over the rotating surface. The slight dampness of the bat helps the clay stick to it during the throwing stage. After everything is prepared and ready, move the stool as close as possible to the front of the wheel. Sit with your legs on either side of the machine, leaning your upper body forward until you can anchor your left elbow into your left thigh. If necessary, shorter people may use a block to raise their left foot and assist their posture. Scoot as close as possible to the front of the wheel and place your right foot on the pedal. Set the switch on the wheel to rotate the bat counterclockwise if you are right-handed, clockwise if you are left-handed. Place your foot gently onto the pedal to get a feel for how much pressure is needed to spin the wheel and how quickly it responds to your movements. Now, with the wheel stopped, firmly throw the ball of clay down onto the bat. Use both hands to strongly pat it into the bat as you pedal your foot. The goal is to get the clay as symmetrical, round, and centered on the wheel as possible. Compress any jutting angles or sharp shapes the clay may take as you are patting it. Once it resembles a round hill and is definitely stuck to the bat, take the sponge from the bucket and squeeze some water over the clay. Press your left hand against the left side of the hill. Press your foot into the pedal to rotate the clay about medium speed. Place your right palm against the top edge and right side of the hill, parallel to your left hand. Cup your hands around the clay and start compressing it into the center of the wheel. Add more water if the clay gets sticky. This process is called centering. It is the most difficult stage of wheel throwing and consequently may take a long time, especially for beginners. But remember to anchor your left elbow and lean forward. Correct posture will make it easier. The clay is centered when you rotate the wheel and it looks identical at all degrees. You'll feel it move beneath your hands, but none of the clay will oscillate. Then, with the wheel still turning, flatten the top of the clay with your right palm into a plateau shape. Slowly press both of your thumbs into the center of the plane, digging a circular valley in the center of the plateau. Stop a couple centimeters shy of the base of the bat. Don't let water accumulate within the cup. Instead, use the sponge to compress the floor of the basin and prevent S-cracks. After your valley is centered and compressed, the following step is pulling up the walls of the cup. To pull up, place your left fingers inside of the cup, pressing gently on the inner right side, knuckles to the left. They should form a strong plane perpendicular to the bat, all of them straight and strong. This is your stabilizing force. Place your right first knuckle against the outside right edge of the cup, meeting your left fingers but not pressing too aggressively or the wall will get too thin. Stabilize your right hand by putting the rest of your fist on the bat. Add water if necessary. Working together, slowly drag both your left fingers and the right knuckle directly upward against the wall of the cup, gently stretching it and thinning it. The goal is to keep the cup centered. Repeat this process until the wall is an even thickness from the base to the top edge. Compress the top edge using the sponge and slight downward pressure. Use the pin tool to cut off any uneven excess from the edge of the cup. Hopefully you will have a smooth, even thickness wall around a compressed, even thickness base. To finish your cup, sponge off any excess water. Stretch the wire tool across the bat and slice the piece from it without disturbing the shape. Remove the bat from the wheel and place the piece in front of a fan to start the drying process. Once it is leather hard, still damp, but able to be touched without deformation, pull the cup from the bat. You may need to use the wire tool to cut it off again. Then, place a clean bat on the wheel and get a variety of metal ribs and loop tools for the trimming process. Place the cup upside down in the very center of the bat and secure it on 4 sides with small, round pieces of raw clay called slugs to hold the cup on the bat while it's spinning. Use the wire tool to trim off excess clay and shape the bottom of the cup. Once it looks finished to you, step away. Be careful of trimming too much. Sign the bottom of the cup. Finally, your cup is ready to be bisque fired and then glazed.